Right, good afternoon, everyone. It's the Principal's Pitch again this Friday. I've got Mr. Thorpe with me as we continue this kind of discussion about education and Warwick Academy. And today we are dressed differently. We've just been outside and we've done the wave by. And the shirts, the yellow in particular, and the writing on the shirts is to recognize the work we're doing this month, Mental Health Month in May, and a variety of initiatives to make our community more aware of the conversation, in particular, sort of the stigma around mental health and also the support that is in place for that. So I'm going to pause there and I'm going to just throw that to you, Mark. I know you've been very involved in the discussions in the secondary school and primary school around what we should be doing. So do you want to talk a little bit about how we've approached the month of May?
Yeah, I mean, the month of May has certainly been a hive of activity around the school.
It has been a hive.
So May is Mental Health Awareness Month, not just at Warwick Academy, but around the world and in the community. So we've got a whole range of different events and activities which are taking place across the whole month, not just in school, outside of school as well. So, for example, we had a couple of students this week who are involved in
the debate,
in a debate about the age of consent for mental health. But this kind of theme of the Bs has originated from it's been students who have driven that. So that we have a student wellbeing team who work with Miss Seawick, and it was their idea to come up with this idea of a B. So we've got a number of themes that kind of happen each week. We've got Be You, we've got Believe in Yourself, we've got Belonging. So we've got a whole range of kind of different B themes which are kind of
plays on the
place,
word,
which is certainly a lot of fun. But this whole kind of topic ties into kind of our push on well-being, that what we've been doing over the last few years. It'd be fair to say, coming out of COVID, that mental health was certainly a struggle for many people. That isolation and just dealing in a different world was very stressful to lots of people and to students. So that has been a focus of ours over the last couple of years, which is why when we came to our Council of International Schools reaccreditation, we decided we're going to do a pathway to approach where we get to choose a theme where we're going to focus on, and the theme that we were choosing was well-being. So we did a bit of a deep dive into well-being curriculum. How is our curriculum appropriate? How do we push that curriculum so that it's not just one teacher's teaching it? It comes from many facets in the school, for example, through the homeroom time, through the teachers. But we also kind of look at the well-being of our students and how can we improve that. And that's what kind of led to this idea of having our Zen Den, which has been fantastic. And it's used every day by a number of students, just where they can do a bit of a check-in and just to make sure that they're good. And then we've also got kind of our well-being of our teachers as well, which is really important. It's interesting that May ends up being the well-being month because that's our main exam month.
It is, isn't it?
And it's one of the times where it can be very stressful and and very anxious for our students. So we've got a lot of external exams which are take place right now, and we've got internal exams which are going to be starting to kick off next week. And that can be a tough time for our students. But there's things that they can be doing, like at home, making sure, as well as having a decent study plan to make sure they feel prepared. Just things like taking care of themselves. So things like eating properly and exercising and relaxation techniques and coping strategies, but just try and help them through that.
Yeah, interesting. I happened to be reading the Times, the UK Times newspaper this morning, and there's an interesting article about mental health in May, but also about resilience and kind of true grit, and that mental health isn't just yes, there are support structures that need to be in place, but also how do we ensure that our young people are growing up with understanding their own resilience, as well as what kind of grit is, and when things are tough, and some things are tough for a good reason and normal, and how they can deal with that, as well as how they can pivot to what support I need. It's kind of a balance in that, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, it's being stressed and being anxious about exams is completely normal, and students should be anxious about exams because you want to do your best. But that anxiety and that stress can actually aid exam performance if it's done in the right kind of way. What we've got to look out for is things which are atypical to that.
Correct.
So the students who are really panicking, who can't sleep, who are really worrying about them. We've got support structures at school to help those particular students, but it is okay to feel stressed about exams, and there is going to be tough, and there's going to be maybe a couple of exams that you don't do quite so well in, but it's how you learn to deal with that and move on, which is going to help prepare you for adult life.
Absolutely. And It's interesting. You mentioned a couple of weeks ago this idea of the school being more student-centered in your time here. And I think that's quite an important observation. I think being student-centered is a variety of different things. It's, you mentioned our wellbeing team. It's including students in some of the decision making and some of the ideas and the idea generation around what we can offer and how we can support. By no means does it mean that it becomes a free-for-all. It is about sort of, holding certain expectations and standards, but providing the support around them to help students get there, as you say, to prepare them for that next step. So that student-centered approach, I think, is very much part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, linked to that, as I said, our well-being of our staff is very important as well. And, how do we kind of gauge the well-being of our staff? And I know, tonight we've got a very important event which kind of ties into that. So I don't know if you want to...
Yeah, you want to throw that at me?
I want to throw this one at you, or kind of our long service awards.
Yes. Tonight, for our parents and guardians out there, we have our long service awards where we celebrate staff every 5 years of service. So tonight we've got staff from 5 years to 20 years. And we've actually got people on staff who've exceeded 40 years. I'm sure some of the parents out there will know the Shelley Graces and the Ellie Smiths and the like that have been here for a long time. But I think there are a couple of reflections on that. One is, I think the best schools have a balance of staff who've been there a long time and carry the sort of historical knowledge of the school, the history of it, traditions. And I mean traditions in a very positive way, not necessarily at all in a old-fashioned, kind of strict way at all. And then you need young staff coming in, who have new ideas and different energy, and that combination I think is really important. But tenure and length of service I think is a hugely important indicator in terms of job satisfaction, you'd like to think, in terms of, those staff members buying into the school culture and the school community and what we offer. I mean, we've been very fortunate over a large number of years now to have a very small turnover of staff, 2 or 3 a year. And I think, some turnover is healthy, but you never want turnover to be such that there are huge changes in teaching staff on a yearly basis that unsettle students. Even you talk about sort of, things that are regular and organized for students, and staff presence is one of those. And the relationships they build with staff are hugely important. So we greatly value our staff. We're recognizing 23 of them tonight from 5 years all the way through to 20, as I said. And really, it's a celebration of their commitment to the school. And I'm sure as parents, you recognize how that has a massive impact on your sons and daughters. Obviously, the amount of time they spend at school in a year is significant. And you want to know that, the teachers out there and the staff we've got really kind of buy into, who Warwick Academy is, what we stand for, and how we do it. So, yeah I think a great part. I mean, I know we're losing you, Mark. I know you're one of those.
I may be back at some point.
But and your tenure's been brilliant. But I think you're dead right.
Yeah, and I think when we've gone to job fairs in January, for example, I think it speaks volume that when you're looking at a job fair and we're posting our adverts and we're looking for maybe 1, 2, possibly 3 members of staff.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes when you look across the room and you see some of the international schools, for example, from China. Some of them are looking for 40 to 50 teachers to replace all in 1 year. And what happens is the teachers come in, it's a revolving door. They stay for 1 year, 2 years, and they're off at the door again. And there's no real kind of stability. And I think we've been definitely lucky enough to have, I think on average our teachers are staying probably 6 to 10 years on average, which I think speaks volumes about kind of the culture that we've got here. If
not longer. And I think the other piece that's really sort of helped our the culture of long service is our teacher training program. We launched that 5 or 6 years ago, and we've got 6 staff members at Warwick who came through our own teacher training program. These are Bermudians on island who've either shifted careers or have come out of university and wanted to train on island with us. Hugely beneficial for kind of the longevity of our school. And also, internationally, there's a recruitment crisis. I mean, it's very difficult to find teachers on island and off island. And if we can create, a system within our school where we train our own teachers and bring them into Warwick Academy if we have a job available. Otherwise, other schools in Bermuda, as we know, some of them have gone to. I think it's a huge benefit for us and the island. So, that's a good topic, and I know we're going to have a good fun tonight, aren't we, with the staff? So
definitely will be celebrate their tenure at the school.
Right, so just to finish off my principal's pitch for this Friday, just a couple of things. It's a very busy month. We've been through and spoken about sort of all the things on the go on the mental health side, But we've had track and field on the go, and a number of days out for primary, middle, and high school students. We've got some football tours heading out. We've got cricket on the go. It's summer term. I love the sport, and great to see that activity happening. We've got our graduation, our Year 13 graduation on the 28th of May. That's coming up. Our IB students all finish writing next week, so we're almost at the end of that run. And just a kind of a heads up, we've got principal coffee mornings on the go. We've had 2 so far. And that's an opportunity for parents to kind of just very casually join in and ask questions. I bring members of the strategic team or specific areas of the school to the coffee morning. We'll say a few words, introduce a few people, and then talk about the school and where we're moving and some thoughts for the future, answer any questions. So please look out for those invitations. At the moment, we're working through the primary school. Going to do a couple more before the end of the year, and we'll move into the secondary school next year. So look out for the coffee morning information. But lots on the go. Last weekend we had the Relay for Life. Great to see so many of our students, really participate, and not just that, but organise the tent event and their involvement, and all the the people, the supporters out there, alumni, parents that we see involved. It was definitely it's definitely a moving event. So it was great to see. And before we know it, we're heading into June. So time moves quickly at this time of the year. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll be back next week with Mr. Thorpe.